Hey there. Our hearts go out to the people of Hawaii following the devastating Maui fires. If you would like to help or are in a position to donate, then the Hawaii Community Foundation has the Maui Strong Fund to directly assist the people of Maui, as well as the Maui Food Bank and Aloha Way Maui Fire Relief Fund. If you're not able to donate, then please share any of the links below to the charities and resources, as every bit helps. Let's help our friends in Maui and Hawaii. Thank you.
I absolutely love JRPGs, and yes, I'm not afraid to use the term JRPGs because to me, that term has so much reverence behind it. Like, that was my childhood, my teenage years, my early, mid, and late 20s, my early 30s, now my mid to late 30s. That is a genre that is just so precious to me. Like, yes, there's RPGs, there's JRPGs, there's tactical RPGs, there's Western RPGs, but JRPGs, for me, chef's kiss. It's just so perfect. And so, when I saw, last year, Sea of Stars, right? When I saw the announcement for that, and then I got to try out the demo earlier this year, I was like, man, this is everything that I've been wanting in a modern style of classic JRPG. And yes, we've got Chained Echoes, which is phenomenal. If you haven't played that, please play that. One of the greatest games in that style to come out in forever. And now we got another game to go up alongside it, and that is Sea of Stars. So I want to first thank Sabotage Studios for providing me a review copy of the game, because that's how I've been able to play it. I have it for Switch, I also have it for PC. I haven't played it on both for the last week, and I have completed it on both, and man, I have a lot to say. So in this video, we're going to go ahead and dive into it and talk about Sea of Stars. Before we do any of that, if you enjoy the content I put out, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel if you haven't already, and ding the notification bell. And with that being said, let's go ahead and talk about Sea of Stars. If you guys remember back in 2018, there was a game that came out called The Messenger. That game was distinctive and inventive for an action platformer that stood out amongst a flood of similar retro-themed indie titles. It basically merged the best of the Shinobi series with the Ninja Gaiden series and a little bit of Hagane into what I feel is one of the perfect games to ever come out. So with that being said, the team at Sabotage Studio were encouraged by the well-deserved success of that game and decided to embark on a dream venture of a retro-style JRPG titled Sea of Stars, inspired by iconic games like Chrono Trigger and Secret of Mana. Although there were skeptics who questioned the studio's capability to deliver a divergent experience from their initial offering, it is gratifying to confirm that such skepticism can be firmly laid to rest. Sea of Stars not only fulfills all expectations, but also executes its vision almost impeccably, offering players an enjoyable, immersive, and outstandingly well-crafted addition to the JRPG category. The narrative of Sea of Stars begins in an age-old library where an enigmatic archivist narrates a tale set in the same universe as The Messenger, albeit millennia prior to the events of that game. A malevolent deity known as the Fleshmancer conjured several monstrous beings called Dwellers before vanishing. Each of these creatures have the potential to transform into a world eater and trigger an apocalypse if allowed to reach adulthood. To counter this threat, a formidable order of mage warriors named Solstice Warriors was established to eradicate the Dwellers, who are susceptible to magic during an eclipse. The story introduces our main protagonist, Zale and Valere, at a point where only one dweller remains to be vanquished, although the ranks of the Solstice Warriors have diminished to a mere trio. Consequently, Zale and Valere are enlisted at a tender age to master their innate affinities for solar and lunar magic, culminating in a quest to eliminate the final beast and thwart the Fleshmancer's nefarious schemes. Similar to The Messenger, the story of Sea of Stars encompasses much more than initially meets the eye, and it is a true pleasure to witness its unfolding and gradual expansion. Despite a somewhat languid beginning, Sea of Stars boasts a remarkably well-crafted narrative that adaptively balances gravity and humor. Overall, it exudes a darker, more intense ambience than the prevailing lightheartedness of Sabotage's debut, yet it includes numerous instances where the studio's characteristically dry humor is evident. Crucially, Sea of Stars excels in developing the relationships between the main characters, particularly Zale and Valere. Players will become deeply invested in the trials faced by this group throughout the approximately 30-hour duration required to complete their journey, and the emotional moments will resonate profoundly when they occur. Sea of Stars adheres to the conventional JRPG format, inviting players to traverse a vast world filled with hidden treasures and dungeons, engage in turn-based battles with adversaries, and assemble a progressively expanding party, each member having a unique role in both combat and the storyline. The influence of classic SNES JRPGs is palpable throughout, yet Sea of Stars assimilates and enhances their concepts. For instance, the game's world is remarkably interactive for a retro JRPG. If a ledge or a rooftop appears climbable, it likely is. Players are not confined to a rigid grid-like movement area that restricts their options. The exploration experience closely resembles what one would anticipate from a contemporary installment in the Golden Sun series, with all dungeons and locations teeming with novel environmental puzzles and thoughtful design that transcends the sensation of merely traversing distinctly adorned passageways that guide you to the subsequent narrative event. In fact, dungeons exhibit a traditional Zelda-like structure, typically featuring a newly acquired gadget or magical ability halfway through that grants additional traversal options and unlocks the remainder of the dungeon, while also providing new tools for exploring the world and discovering additional rewards and unlockables during the backtracking. So when it comes to encountering enemies, battles are initiated directly at the point of contact and adhere to standard turn-based mechanics, indicating the time remaining before their next attack, as well as occasionally accompanied by a small box containing icons. These locks correspond to various elements and weapon categories wielded by your characters. Successfully targeting an enemy with the appropriate attacks before their counter reaches 0 will nullify their attack entirely. Even if not, all locks are targeted in time, where each successful hit will reduce the enemy's strength by a fixed percentage. Drawing inspiration from Super Mario RPG, both offensive and defensive actions can be augmented by precisely timed inputs that either amplify your damage or diminish the damage received from opponents, adding a layer of engagement to the battles. The necessity to master the timing for new enemies or attacks prevents complacency and introduces a skill-based element to the fights, beyond merely optimizing characters with suitable statistics and letting the numbers dictate the outcome. You must actually improve your combat skills against a boss if you repeatedly lose. Furthermore, a boost system, loosely reminiscent of Octopath Traveler, is incorporated. Landing standard attacks not only generates MP, but executing more potent combos, but also disperses a barrage of magical orbs across the field, available for utilization. To enhance the impact of an attack or a party buff, a character can absorb the orbs up to 3 times per action to increase its potency. As a result, battles are much more intricate than merely selecting options from a menu, and this dynamism infuses each encounter with significance. In a departure from conventional RPG design, even the low-level common enemies encountered during exploration can inflict substantial damage and potentially incapacitate characters in 2 or 3 hits. Even with appropriate gear and levels, this implies that auxiliary systems like attack augmentation and input timing are relevant beyond just boss encounters, ensuring that combat engagements never feel like tedious filler. In a notably progressive design decision, characters do not level up individually. Instead, the entire party accumulates experience and advances as a single entity, with each member, including those not actively participating, receiving a proportional increase in statistics upon leveling up. Although players retain some control over individual development by selecting a specific statistic to receive additional points. During leveling up, this approach eliminates the bench commonly found in most RPGs. Every party member, even newly recruited ones, is combat ready and on par with others. Although only 3 characters can participate in a battle at any given time, any of them can be substituted by a party member on the sidelines without forfeiting a turn. This promotes the utilization of the entire party consistently rather than exclusively relying on a select few while neglecting the rest. Many esteemed JRPGs include a minigame that can be played throughout the game, and Sea of Stars is no exception, featuring the entertaining Wheels game, which can be played with patrons in the taverns you visit. Essentially, Wheels is a dice rolling game where the objective is to deplete your opponent's HP before they deplete yours. Each match commences by selecting 2 characters such as a mage and a knight, who will perform their actions once they accumulate sufficient energy, generated by your rolls. Players are allowed 3 rolls per turn, with each of the 5 wheels producing a symbol corresponding to one of your characters or a barrier that can be constructed to block damage. The strategic aspect of wheels lies in the ability to selectively lock wheels that you wish to retain. For example, if you desire your knight to attack during a turn, it would be advantageous to lock any symbols corresponding to the knight. That being aside, a unique blend of retro and modern aesthetics aside, Sabotage Studio's sophomore effort is a masterclass in game design and storytelling, demonstrating that the indie developer is not a one-hit wonder, but a force to be reckoned with in the gaming industry. The game not only pays homage to the classics that inspired it, but also brings fresh ideas to the table, making it an essential play for both fans of the genre and newcomers alike. Whether it's the intricate combat system, the memorable characters, the captivating narrative, or the beautifully rendered pixel art, there's something in Sea of Stars for everyone to appreciate. And in wrapping everything up, Sea of Stars is truly a triumphant success for Sabotage Studio, effectively capturing the magic of yesteryears while injecting it with a dose of contemporary innovation. The end result is a game that feels both familiar and novel, a timeless adventure that will surely be remembered as one of the highlights of the modern indie gaming scene. Don't pass up the opportunity to embark on this unforgettable journey. And that's it. That's the review for Sea of Stars. Again, thank you to Sabotage Studio for providing a review copy of the game for the Switch and for Steam. And, with that being said, what do you guys think? Is this a game that you have been looking forward to? Is this something that's on your radar? Have you played it already? And ultimately, what do you think of it stacking up against the likes of stuff like Chained Echoes and other games out there as well? Whatever your thoughts are, why don't we get the conversation going in the comment section down below. And with that being said, if you enjoy the content that I put out, make sure you like the video, sub to the channel if you haven't already, ding the notification bell, because we are almost at 30,000 subscribers. I'm so excited. We're right there. We're right on the cusp of it, and I can't wait for us to hit that milestone. So all that being said, thank you guys for coming through, and I hope you have a blessed and aloha rest of your day. Stay safe, be blessed, have aloha, and I'll see you around. Peace.